Hey guys, this is Abhishek and welcome to Data Science Tutorials. And in this video, I will give you an introduction of Numpy. So Numpy is a library within the Python. Probably you must be aware about it. But if you are not, then it is one of the very important and one of the very base library of Python. Because whatever data science work, let's say, data analysis in pandas or visualization in Seaborn or Matplotlib library, if you do, you pretty much, these libraries are pretty much using Numpy as a base library for producing it. Even if you have seen the examples, like the basic examples on their website or from, bloggers or authors, they are using the Numpy arrays as the data source for those libraries for producing the examples. So in this video, I will give you a quick idea about the Numpy array and how you can create Numpy arrays, and then we will see how a quick difference between a Numpy array structure and the other structure like tuple that you have, or maybe list that you have. So first of all, to create or to import the library, we use the import statement, import numpy as np. So as is basically an alias for this library, so that whenever we are using any of the function of Numpy library, we don't have to write numpy as a long word. However, we can just write the np dot notation, and after that we can write any method or any function. So that's about Numpy library. Now the second thing is about, let's say you want to check the version, because if you are following any example, let's say even if this example may be sometime later in the future, then you may want to see that which version you are using. So for that, what you can use is you can simply use the print command and say np dot underscore underscore version, and I'll press the tab and shift enter. So the version that I'm using is 1.11.3. Very quick way, but helpful in scenarios if you are looking for a version, which version author is using and which version I'm using. Okay, so first of all, we will create the first Numpy array with the help of the arange function. So what it does is basically we will call arr1, and we will use np dot arange, and then maybe let's say 5. That's about it. And we have just executed this by pressing shift enter and then press arr1 shift enter, and here we have 0 1 2 3 4. So basically 5 elements of an array. So arange is, or in short you can say arange, but I think arange is more meaningful. So basically you can create these 5 elements, but it has other parameters as well. So what I'll do is, if I press shift tab, you will see that arange is basically saying that you want a start, stop, and step. So what it means is basically how you can create a further refined Numpy array is by using arange, and then maybe you are starting with 1 going till 100 and step is 10. Okay, now let's see that. So what it is 1, 11, 21, 31, 41. So that's basically the idea. If I'm pressing again shift tab between where you want to start, where you want to stop, how many steps you want between the current and the next element. So we want 10. So after 1, if you add 10, what you get is 11. And that is what you are getting as an output over here for 1, 11, 21, 31. And as you can see, this is an array. So why this is helpful to get an array is because sometimes when you want to do some complex multiplications or any formula that you want to apply, this Numpy arrays basically comes a great handy way of applying those calculations as compared to the other elements that we have. So for example, let's say there is a tuple, so tup1 is basically within the parenthesis you will say let's say 2, 5, 8 and 9, and I just press enter, and I will just say tup1, shift enter, and what I have is a tuple of 2, 5, 8, 9. So tuple is one of the type within the Python, and let's say I want to multiply each of the element with maybe 3. So the outcome should be 6, 15, 24 and 27 if you are multiplying each of the element with 3. So what happens is tup1 multiplication sign 3 and press shift enter. What it gives is basically 2, 5, 8, 9, again 2, 5, 8, 9, 2, 5, 8, 9. So it does not give the relevant output. The expectation we have is the multiplication. However, it has repeated the tuple 3 times. Okay, so in such scenarios, we need to convert the tuple into an array and get the output. All right, how we can do that? I'll say arr2, and I will simply use np.array and pass the tuple. And if I press shift enter, I get array2. Now this 2, 5, 8, 9 is converted into a simple array. Now if I want arr2 multiply with 3 and press shift enter, I get 6, 15, 24, 27. So you really need to decide what type of an outcome you want. If you want an outcome where your list or your tuple in this case needs to be repeated a couple of times, then you can go ahead with this expression. But if you are looking for a mathematical expression, which is usually the case in most of the scenarios, then what you need is conversion of a tuple type into an array type using np.array function, and then specifying any multiplication. So if you want arr2 plus 3, so let's see what it does. It has added, as you can say, 3 or 2, 5, 5 and 3, 8, 11 and 12. So all of whatever operation, simple operation that you are specifying, whether addition, multiplication, subtraction, it will be applied on each element of the list, and that's very useful way whenever you are doing any mathematical operation. Now let's see another type, which is a list. So I'll create list1, and list is basically gets created in Python with the help of these brackets. And what I want is 2, 5, 9 and 11 maybe in this case, and here is my list1 simple list, right? So if I want to convert a list into an array, again I will use, let's say, list underscore array, and again I will use np.array, and I will pass the list1. So simple as I have done in the case of the tuple, I am passing the list1 over here. So it's a straightforward operation. Now if I want to see list underscore array object, this was the list, but if you see an array is like this. This is basically, I would say, a one-dimensional array. So within the parentheses you have these brackets list. So after that, whatever operation you want to apply, list underscore array multiply by 3, this, you will be able to do that as per your expectations. Another thing, the last thing I would really like to show you over here is, let's say I am saving this over here. So I have a list array and I have a list2 which is also an array. I can add that, right? List array plus list2. So here I have the list2, which is a multiplication, which is applying multiplication on each element of list1, which is list array. And then as an outcome, what I'm doing is I'm adding these to list. So let's go ahead and execute this. All right. So if you apply the multiplication, the first element will come 6, and when you say 6 plus 2, it becomes 8 in that case. So this way, if you have a need where you need to apply, or when you need to perform the addition, subtraction from multiple arrays that you have, it's pretty easy and straightforward. So that's why having the basic idea about the NumPy arrays is really helpful if you are planning to become an expert into the field of data science. And these basic topics will go in a long way when you are doing any data visualization, data massaging, even the machine learning work. So I'll suggest that you pay a lot of attention on the NumPy arrays.